What's up guys, Groovy Guitar Dude here with a beginner guitar tutorial for Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish. If this video helps you out, hit that like and subscribe button, and the guitar we're jamming on today is called a Donner DAJ110C. If you want to learn more about this guitar and how you can win it this week, hit up this video right here. Guys, the first thing that you want to know to play Happier Than Ever on guitar is that we're going to be in standard tuning and we will not need a capo to play this song. The next thing that you want to know for Happier Than Ever is the structure of this song. We're going to start out with a short chorus, then we're going to go to verse 1, then pre-chorus, then chorus, and then we're going to do verse 2 and verse 3 to take us out of the song. And the last thing that you want to know before we dive into Happier Than Ever is the 7 chords that you need to play this song. The first one is C. The next one is E7. The next one is A minor 7. The next one is G. The next one is D minor 7. The next one is D minor 7 flat 5. And the last one is F. And I'll have short chord tutorials for all of those linked in the pinned comment below for those of you who need them. And guys, with all that in mind, let's dive into Happier Than Ever. Guys, I'm so stoked for some new Billie Eilish. I haven't listened to much of the new album yet, so be sure to let me know down in the comments below what other songs from this album that you want to learn, because I'm really stoked to go through as much of it as possible. So with that in mind, the first thing that we're going to take a look at is the chord progression and the strum patterns that are going to be used for our verse 1 and our chorus. So first we'll look at our chord progressions. For our chord progressions, we're going to start with C, E7, A minor 7, and then we'll go D minor 7 and G. And then our next line is going to be almost the same. We're going to go C, E7, A minor 7. But then on that second line, we're going to go to that D minor 7 flat 5 instead of the D minor 7 and the G that we did in the first line. So there also is going to be stars next to some of those chords, and that has to do with what we're doing for strum pattern. We'll get there in just a minute. But a quick note before we get to strum pattern, for our choruses, we're just going to repeat that top line only. Just the top line is going to repeat through our choruses. For our verse 1, we're just going to play through that straight. We'll play the top line twice, we'll play the second line twice for our verse 1. And then for the choruses again, we're just going to repeat the top line over and over again. And that's what that actually looks like and breaks down to be. So with that in mind, now let's take a look at what we're doing for our strum patterns. We use our C chord as our example here. For our strum pattern, we're going to go down, down, up, down, up. We're going to do that twice for all of the non-starred chords and once for all of the starred chords. So a little walkthrough of that chord progression will look about like this. We'll do the first line first. We're going to go, for our C chord, we'll go down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, E7, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, A minor 7, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. And then we get to those starred chords, which again, the starred chords are just going to be once through that strum pattern. D minor 7 will get down, down, up, down, up, and then to G, down, down, up, down, up. And that right there is just going to repeat pretty close to that speed through all of our choruses, and then it's going to play through twice in verse 1, and then we'll switch on verse 1 to that second line, which will look about like this. We'll go down, down, up, down, 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 down. Down, up, down, up. Just about like that. And then that right there, that last D minor 7 flat 5, which is kind of a mouthful, will lead us into the pre-choruses, which we'll get to in just a minute. So guys, that might look like a lot and seem a little intimidating. The most important thing here is just remembering what parts go where. It's nothing too crazy. The strum pattern's pretty slow. Your transitions are all very slow, so even if you're a beginner, you shouldn't have too much trouble getting this down. It's just remembering which spots go where. So with that in mind, I'm going to play once through all the way through the verse chord progressions. It has both of those two chord progressions. Just remember, again, one more time, for the choruses, we're just going to repeat the top line. And then for the verses, we're going to play twice through the top line, twice through the second line before we move on to the pre-chorus and then the next chorus after that. So with that in mind, guys, once all the way through verse 1, which will also be the chord progression that we use for choruses as well, will look about like this without me talking. From there, guys, we're into what's being played for the pre-chorus. The pre-chorus is a very, very short part of the song. We only play through the chord progression we're using for the pre-chorus once. It's really, really quick, but it is kind of a funky change of pace. So the chord progression we're going to be using for our pre-chorus is going to be E7, A minor 7, D minor 7, and G. So we're actually going to have the same strum pattern that we used for our verse 1 and chorus for our pre-chorus as well. So let's break this down chord by chord. We're going to start with this E7. For this one, we're going to have 2 times through that same strum pattern. Down, down, up, down, 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 up. And then we go to A minor 7, which is also going to be 2 times through that strum pattern. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. After we do that A minor 7, we're going to have a little pause. There's going to be a little bit of space here, and it's just a little vocal part that Billie Eilish does whenever she sings this. After that little space, we're going to go into D minor 7, and that's a starred chord, so it only gets 1 time through that strum pattern. We'll go down, down, up, down, up, and then to G, which is also a starred chord, so that only gets 1 time through as well. Down, down, up, down, up, and then we're into that second chorus of the song. So we have 1 chorus in the intro, and then that second chorus, which is kind of in the middle of the song, right after that pre-chorus. That's going to lead us into that last G chord. So, like I said, guys, it literally is just those 4 chords with those strum patterns 1 time through. It just goes really quick, and then it's into that chorus, and then after that chorus, we get into the last 2 verses, which we'll get to in just a minute. So, again, this only plays through once in the actual song, but I'm going to go ahead and play through it twice just so that you guys can have a little more time to play along with it and practice it if you need to. But a couple times through that chord progression and strum patterns that repeats only once, or actually only plays once through our pre-chorus, will look about like this without me talking. And finally, guys, that's going to bring us to the last thing that you need to know to play this song, which is what we're playing for verse 2 and verse 3, which is actually probably the easiest parts of the song and also probably the most fun to play for most people. So with that in mind, we're just going to have 1 chord progression and 1 strum pattern. It's going to repeat all through verse 2 and verse 3. That chord progression is going to be C, E7, A minor 7, and F. Repeated all the way through verse 2 and verse 3, which is really pretty much just the whole entire second half of the song. What we're going to be doing for our strum pattern for each chord there is going to be 6 down strums for each chord. It'll look a little bit like this. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just about like that, repeated all through verse 2 and verse 3. Now, the only thing that changes up a little bit is the intensity that we're strumming with. So, whenever you start out verse 2 in the very beginning, right after the first chorus, whenever it kind of switches pace and turns more, the first half of the song is very soft and kind of whimsical a little bit, but then whenever you finish up that chorus that's in the middle of the song, you get into the very beginning of verse 2, you start to kind of build it into this kind of rocky building kind of thing. And what you want to do with that is you want to kind of start by playing that really softly because you're building this. You want to go... still fairly soft. But then by the time you reach like verse 3 and kind of towards the end of the song, as you're getting kind of towards the end of the song, you can build that and you can really be like wailing on it. And you can go... Basically, the whole entire second half of the song is a build. So when you start that verse 2, you start it out soft, and by the time you get to the end of verse 3, you're just really jamming and really rocking, and that'll really lend itself well. It's the same thing played all the way through verse 2 and verse 3. All we're doing is just building it up in intensity towards the end of the song. So really cool, really fun to play, and probably the most beginner-friendly part of this song as well. It's definitely the easiest to remember. There's less moving parts. So guys, nothing too crazy here. Just a simple chord progression and a very simple strum pattern to go along with it. But a couple times through that chord progression and strum pattern, it's going to repeat through verse 2 and verse 3 on Happier Than Ever. Will look about like this without me talking. And guys, that is everything that you need to know to play Happier Than Ever on guitar. As always, if you have any questions, you can hit me up in the comments down below. I'm usually pretty quick getting back to those. And again, if this video helped you out, hit that like and subscribe button. I have about 875 other guitar and ukulele lessons on this channel. I usually try to post at least 3 to 5 new lessons every single week. So if you're learning guitar or ukulele, there could not be a more perfect channel for you to check out. Guys, if you want a chance to win the guitar that I used in this tutorial, this guitar right here, hit up my Instagram at @thegroovyguitardude. Guys, I am so stoked to be getting back to some new Billie Eilish. I'm really excited for this song. I love teaching Billie Eilish on this channel because I know a lot of people love to learn her songs, and this is a great song for beginners to learn. There are a lot of chords, and especially in the beginning of the song, there are kind of a lot of moving parts, but it's still a fairly beginner-friendly song. It's all just pretty simple chord progressions and strum patterns, so even if it seems intimidating for beginners out there, it really is not as difficult as it seems, once you kind of figure out where everything goes, of course. So again, guys, this is a really fairly beginner-friendly song. My favorite part of this song to play is definitely the verse 2 and verse 3, that part that's just the same chord progression and strum pattern, but just builds and gets super fun and jammy. I love that part. It's actually a really great part for beginners to learn, of course, because it is just one chord progression and one strum pattern. So, guys, I had a lot of fun learning this song. I hope you guys had a lot of fun learning as well, and hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see y'all soon.